Remove the infusion set from the package. Let's review the parts of the infusion set. The MiniMed Mio Advance comes in two separate pieces. One piece is the tubing with a connector on either side, and the other is the insertion device that holds the insertion piece. Let's start by looking at the tubing. On one end of the tubing is the tubing connector that attaches to the reservoir. On the other end is the infusion site connector that is attached to the insertion piece. A white cap protects the site connector and is removed before connecting. Now we will look at the insertion device. Inside the insertion device is the insertion piece, which is made up of the cannula housing where the tubing is connected and a short, thin, flexible tube called the cannula. The insertion piece is preloaded into the inserter and is inserted into the body by pressing the top button. An adhesive pad sticks the infusion set to your body. The disconnect cover locks the top button in place, preventing it from releasing the set. Once the set is inserted, the disconnect cover then fits onto the cannula housing to protect the site connector when the tubing is not attached. The raised arrows indicate where the tubing will be when it is connected. Remove the white cap and hold the site connector so that you can see insulin drops coming out the end of the tubing. With fill highlighted on the screen, press and hold select. The pump screen will display the amount of insulin being moved through the tubing. Continue to hold select until you see insulin drops coming out at the end of the tubing. The number of units shown on the screen will vary each time you fill the tubing. If you release select too early, just press and hold the select button again until you see drops come out the end of the site connector. After you see the drops, release the select button. Hold the tubing to the light to check for air in the tubing. If there is no air in the tubing, press right and select next. If you do see air, once again press and hold select until the air exits the end of the tubing. Then press right and select next. Now you'll see the fill cannula screen. You have successfully filled the reservoir and infusion set tubing. Next, you'll prepare to insert the infusion set. Next, you will select your infusion site. Some commonly recommended areas for infusion sites are your abdomen, except for the 2 inches around your belly button, your hips and buttocks, your upper thighs, or the back of your arms. Your healthcare professional can help you select the best sites for you. Clean your infusion site properly with an alcohol wipe or prep wipe. Allow your site to air dry. Pick up the insertion device and remove the paper backing, being careful not to touch the adhesive. Remove the disconnect cover by gently squeezing the sides and pulling it away from the insertion device. Store the disconnect cover for later use to protect the cannula housing when disconnected. Stretch the skin until smooth. Place the insertion device on the site that you have prepared. The raised arrows indicate the side where the tubing will be connected. To insert, firmly press the top button. Carefully pull the insertion device away from your body. Smooth the adhesive onto the skin. Hold the cannula housing steady with your finger, then push the site connector straight into the cannula housing until you hear a click. Now the cannula will need to be filled with insulin. On your pump, select Fill. The Fill cannula screen will appear with either dashes or the amount you previously used. Both the 6mm and 9mm cannula sizes require 0.6 units of insulin. To change the fill amount, press Select and use the arrows to scroll to the amount needed and press Select again. If the amount is correct, press down and select Fill Now. The pump will begin to fill the cannula and display the amount. Congratulations, you have successfully filled your reservoir and changed your site. From time to time, you will need to temporarily disconnect from your infusion site. Make sure you suspend your pump prior to disconnecting. To disconnect from your pump, gently hold the cannula housing steady with your finger. Then squeeze the sides of the site connector and pull it away from the cannula housing. To protect both the site connector and cannula housing when disconnected, place the white cap on the site connector and the disconnect cover over the cannula housing. Both the site connector and disconnect cover will click when connected.